From desert skies to haunted hallways, the world's getting weirder by the minute. This week, mysterious lights swirl over Texas. Bigfoot howls echo through the Alaskan wilds. And a rock legend claims his newest hit came from beyond the grave. Meanwhile, AI might be channeling the dead. Ghost tours are back aboard a haunted ship, and Zach Baggins steps inside a house that helped define horror itself. Glowing rings, shadow figures, and Nessie's latest cameo. It's all happening right now. This is the Paranormal 60 News, and we are the only news you need to know from the only team you can always trust to drink and have fun. Good evening, Darklings. Good evening, Paranormal 60 News crew. I know, we're all here together like that.
I'm scared.
Boom. Welcome to the show. We have Sweet Tea and Professor of the Paranormal, the Paranormal Detective, the Paramour of the Paranormal, Greg Lawson.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, good to see y'all. What are you drinking tonight, Greg?
Paramour of the Paranormal. I like it. You know, I decided to go old school. I've had this bottle of Jefferson Reserve for probably over 20 years.
Really?
Yeah. I think we bought it when we first moved into the house, within the first couple of years that we moved into this house.
Sorry, you can't afford newer liquor.
Yeah, that's weird.
Studio. And it's really good. And whenever I have really good whiskey, I tend to not drink it. You know, give me a bottle of Dickel or, Southern Comfort or something.
Pardon me?
Some Cuddy Sark that I can just...
Are you my grandfather?
Jerk, some E&J freaking brandy, and I could just blow.
I'm sorry, what?
The room. Yeah.
My God. Sweet Tea, save us. What are you drinking?
I just got some white wine. I don't know.
What do you got? A bunch of candy stuck in a bottle of MD 2020 and a straw?
Yeah. How did you know? I haven't even released the video.
What an idiot. Meanwhile, I've got a little Arby's mixture of my own.
Wow.
Tonight's episode is not brought to you by Arby's.
You got a Jamocha shake there, buddy?
No, it's lemonade.
Oh.
Yeah. Last thing you want is to hear me trying to suck a Jamocha shake through the straw, because it's always like concrete. It's like
Bonsai says you're drinking prison wine.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I am. All right, we got a lot of stories to get to in this very short 1 hour span that we share together.
Wow.
And,
1 hour.
Yeah, you've watched the show. It's the Paranormal 60. It says so.
I mean, it says that, but
yeah. Well, we hit it 1 hour and 1 minute last week, I think. It was pretty remarkable.
Yeah, made me
incredible. We're getting good.
So let's jump right in. We've got some interesting news popping up from around the world. The UFO Watchtower is celebrating 25 years of extraterrestrial encounters. Tonight, we begin by taking a trip to the San Luis Valley in Colorado, where the UFO Watchtower is marking its 25th anniversary. It's a quirky little roadside attraction established by Judy Messeline and has become a hotspot for UFO enthusiasts and curious travelers alike. Originally started as nothing more than a joke, the Watchtower has since become a very serious site for those seeking unexplained phenomena. Over the years, visitors have reported numerous sightings of cigar-shaped objects and mysterious lights in the sky. The area is also known for its alleged paranormal vortices, and that's just adding to its mystique. To commemorate the milestone, the Watchtower hosted a special event this past weekend, drawing crowds eager to share their own experiences and perhaps witness something unexplainable themselves. So whether you're a skeptic or a believer, the UFO Watchtower continues to be a beacon for those intrigued by the unknown. Have you ever been to the Watchtower, Greg, in Colorado?
I have not. When you threw that picture up there, I thought it was a picture of someplace in India with all that trash and stuff there. Like,
Wow.
what? Have you seen some pictures of India? I'm sorry.
Wow.
No,
That's not politically incorrect.
it's
What?
pretty politically incorrect.
Oh, let me send you some pictures, my friend.
I don't know because I've fallen for that trick before,
Yeah, right.
and it doesn't look as good in
I
a
didn't say anything
sombrero
about
as you think
a
it does.
person. Y'all just get over yourselves.
What?
Because the country is all filled with stuff.
Yeah, I think every
I'm gonna
country
send
is.
pictures. Oh my God.
You are a treat tonight. Listen, the UFO Watchtower, 25 years strong, started off as a joke. It's now 25 years in. I understand that. My life started off as a joke, and I'm 57 years in.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah. Fun stuff. Hey, Sweet Tea,
Yeah.
you got to go out and participate in the first event for Chris Fleming, his
Yep.
new coming out party, which was exciting and scary all at once, right? Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about where you went.
We went to the Stronghold Castle in Oregon, Illinois, and it was weird. Off the bat, I was like, there's no way this place is haunted. It's just some random summer home from some guy. So much activity. It was great. It
Really?
was
What type of activity?
not great. I mean, it was not a happy activity.
Okay.
It kept telling us it was a djinn, and it
Oh.
called a friend of ours bad names and told us to get out a lot, and it was great fun.
Wow. What
Yeah.
was it? Was the friend Chris?
No.
Oh, because ghosts can be very cruel to Chris. I've been in many places where they have said some just bizarre things to him. And yeah. So you had this opportunity. It's a castle
It's
in
a
Illinois,
summer home that looks like a castle. It is not a
Oh.
real castle.
but it's like a summer camp now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a camp for
called
boys,
those
I believe.
chateaus. It's a chateau.
Well,
Chateau.
it was named castle.
chateau.
So
Sweet Tea got to sleep on top, I was told.
I don't want to talk about that.
You were in a bunk bed that you had to cover with a shower curtain. Is that I understand?
Listen,
Was the bed a little
this-
sketch?
This was a summer camp for boys. Who knows what's on those mattresses?
Oh, I know. Greg, do you know?
Well, oh yes. I don't know what you
We're,
said.
we're well aware what's on those. So you put a plastic tarp, a shower curtain over
Uh-huh.
the bed.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Listen,
Did-
you
did you
can't
have
be
anything-
too safe.
Did you have anything weird happen in your rooms? Like did the paranormal make its way in there?
Bed bugs?
The weirdest thing that happened in our rooms is as soon as we got into those shower curtain covered mattresses, we passed out. We were so tired. It was just too much. We just went to
Was
sleep.
it maybe the chloroform soaked pillowcases?
It could be. I
Yeah.
don't
The
know.
gas that they were pumping into the room?
It could be.
Now,
I
our
don't-
buddy Chris Fleming, as many of you know, and maybe some of you newbies do not know, Chris has been dealing with cancer for the better part of the last year. It came on fast and furious, and he was told he really only had about 4 to 6 months to live. Things progressed. It got to the point where he was told he only had a few weeks to live. We had an outpouring of prayers and did some charity auctions to help raise money for him. And the cancer reversed itself, became something that was treatable, a form of leukemia. They began aggressively treating the leukemia, and it is now in remission. It's gone. However, he is still dealing with lowered immunity and some of that. So we're waiting for this buildup, but he no longer needs chemotherapy, which is fantastic. So
Yeah.
that's your update. What did you? I mean, you got to see Chris in his element. Did he seem to be missing a step after coming back from cancer?
I don't think so at all. He looked really great. As far as I know, he just finished his last therapy, like chemotherapy or some sort of therapy. So he was a little bit weak, but I was so blown away by how well he looked. I was expecting just weak and he looked fantastic for what he has gone through since he was diagnosed. So big ups,
Yeah.
big prayers. He's got a big fundraiser in May. I think it's May 17th. Everybody go pay attention to that and give him some love because listen, he's been out of it. He hasn't been able to do anything.
Yeah.
He's the best.
It's tough. And if you could do me a favor, if you're interested and would like to make a donation any size, every dollar, if every one of you watching this video were to kick in $1 or $2, it would go a long way to help him, because again, he can't really work during this time because his reduced immunity. He was very very cautious at this event, but being a medium is his full-time job, being this work, it's been extremely tough on him. So if you're willing to make a donation, or perhaps you'd even like to buy some of his art from his Etsy shop, you can reach out to me, Dave at paranormal60.com. I'll send you the link to both his Etsy shop and to his GoFundMe. And if we could just keep helping for a while longer to get him through this, it would be greatly appreciated. Right now, he has it on his cycle, and his doctors think that by the end of 2025, he will be right as rain and back into the working world and back to life as normal. So, again, if you could consider making a donation, it would be great. Please do so by emailing me, Dave at paranormal60.com, and I will send you a link. All right, Greg, that's your real name, Greg.
Hey, buddy.
You have the next story, buddy. Texas is kind of crazy this week. 3 stories. Bang, bang, bang. What have you got?
The first story. And right after the first story, I'm going to have to pop off for a second and get my motorcycle in, because hail is coming.
Do I not get to read a story?
Yeah, there's hail like just a couple of miles from my house right now. So
you get to read a story right after Greg reads his story.
Yeah, Marfa Lights, man. Let's talk a little bit about Texas. The unsolved mystery shines on. All right, let me take you down to West Texas, Marfa to be exact. Now, most of us have heard of the Marfa Lights. They've been showing up out there in the desert skies for over 100 years. Glowing orbs flickering in the distance with no clear origin. Tourists flock there hoping to catch a glimpse, and usually people step away from Marfa with a little bit of a story. They usually see something. But recently, things have gotten weirder. Over the past week, dozens of visitors and locals have reported an uptick in activity out there. We're talking orbs changing from white to blue colors and kind of an eerie orange. People are claiming that lights split into two, merge back together, and even move in formations like they're putting on some sort of a show. And it's not just 1 or 2 lights. Sometimes there's 6 or 7 hoovering together over the same stretch of desert.
Vacuum?
Yeah. One group of amateur sky watchers used thermal imaging at night, and the lights didn't register any heat. No heat at all. No flight signatures. Nothing picked up on nearby radar. Nothing. So they're not drones. These aren't car headlights bouncing off of something, as scientists have tested this theory and tested it over and over into the ground. So what are they? Locals have their theories. Some people think they're ghosts. Others think they're Earth energies, UFOs, time portals. And you know what? After seeing how much tech has not explained them, I'm not ruling anything out. One thing is for sure, Marfa Lights are back. They're weirder than ever, and they're not camera shy, Dave. They're not.
Well, Greg, talk to me a little bit about the Marfa Lights. I mean, obviously you're interested in UFO phenomena. Do you think that this falls into the UFO craft type phenomena, or do you think this is more of a light anomaly? Is this more of like ball lightning, a natural thing?
I would love to say what it is, Dave, but I'm getting hit with hail right now, and I got to go get my motorcycle. I'll be right back.
All right, Greg, you go take off and come back
Rude.
when you're ready, I guess, Mr. Lawson. All right, sweetie, now you get to tell a story.
Because, I mean, it was labeled number 2, so I was a little confused. Strange lights! Trail car near Big Bend. For this story, we will stay in West Texas on Easter night, April 20. A couple was driving back to their hotel in Alpine after a day in Big Bend National Park. They decided to take a detour through Terralingua and then up Highway 118. About 50 minutes into their drive, they stopped to stargaze under the clear night sky. But here's where it gets eerie. After resuming their journey, the driver noticed a peculiar greenish-yellow pill-shaped light following their vehicle. just about 20 feet behind. It wasn't a reflection or another car. This light maintained its distance and shape, trailing them silently through the desert night. They shared their experience on Reddit, and it's been stirring up quite the conversation.
But the
Some suggest
conversation.
controversial.
Yeah.
Listen, it's a portmanteau.
Yeah. Everybody.
Some suggest it's related to the infamous Marfalites, as previously stated, while others think it might be something entirely different. Whatever it was, it left them, and now us, with more questions. Back to you, Dave.
So that's two stories back to back. Strange lights, strange
Mhm.
weird phenomena. This pill-like shape. I've now heard multiple stories of this, where people are being tracked in their vehicles by like a ball of light. They've been in the pill shape. They've been round. Some of them have been almost like a flat disc that zips along at pretty breakneck speeds. It's been kind of strange. I know that you're the cryptid girl from Monsters Lounge.
Stop.
No, I've read about you online. So
Mhm.
that's what makes me want to ask you this question.
Sure.
We just heard about the Marfalites, right?
Yep.
These strange
Mhm.
light anomalies. We're hearing about this capsule-like thing that's flying along near a car.
Mhm.
If these are not craft, what do you think that these light anomalies are?
Oh, okay. If it's not a craft,
Yeah,
listen, if it's not a craft, it feels like a natural phenomena, like ball lightning or something. But even that seems like it's uh, too strict of a box to put it in. I don't
right.
know. Like it
Plus the fact
feels
that it separates, they've seen them
right.
separate and move around independently, then come back together. I don't think, and I'm no physicist. I know it's hard to
Is
believe
that
because
true?
of my goatee. You'd look at me and think,
Yeah,
that guy looks like a physicist, but I'm
I
not.
do.
I don't know what it is. I think that I don't know. It's not a craft per se, but it's flying. It seems like it might be some kind of natural phenomena, but it's acting in an unnatural way.
Yeah. It reminds me of the John Keel story of the Mothman prophecies in his book.
I'm
Like
sorry, the what?
not the one that the other guy, not that one.
You mean
No, the other.
Messages from Mothman by Greg
No,
Lawson?
I
Wow.
don't. I mean the original big Mothman story in Point Pleasant. Uh,
Okay.
That's it.
But that was like a creature. That wasn't a ball of light and it wasn't a
No.
pill-shaped light flying along.
No, I'm not even talking about Mothman. I'm talking about experiences that he had after seeing Mothman. And
No.
all right, you know what? It's a long story, but that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of like UFOs or something we don't know what it is tracking people.
Right. Now, Greg, while you were outside trying to drag your motorcycle in from the massive hail,
Yeah.
Sweet Tea just shared the story from West Texas on Easter night on April 20th. A couple driving back in their car, they had this pill-shaped light, this like that was following them, and it wasn't a reflection. They couldn't make sense of it. You have the Marfa lights taking place. You've got these lights following a vehicle. If they're not a craft, I threw the question to Sweet Tea. I'll throw it to you. What do you think that these lights represent?
Yeah. So it depends on if there's multiple people seeing them,
Mhm.
and it's real world. It's live. It's not like on camera, or you're not looking through some sort of technology or something like that.
Right.
That's if you have multiple people seeing something like that, it's really hard to explain, especially if it's pace in your vehicle and it's you're not able to look at it and say, well, that's definitely a drone.
Yeah.
So it's hard to explain.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do unless you're there? And nowadays, depending on what technology you're using and depending on who it is, whether you believe them or not, whether it's been faked or not. I mean, there's so much fake stuff out there now. It's really hard to determine.
Why don't you know what you should do is connect? I should connect you with Bill Chappell,
Yes, you should.
and we should send you out to investigate the Marfa lights using his laser microphone.
He
Because
needs to do that. We need to do that.
wouldn't it be interesting if you could use the laser microphone to shoot the laser directly at the Marfa lights? Would it bounce back? Would you get any sound? Would you get any kind of communication? That might be an interesting experiment to try, Greg. Would you be up for that if I could get Bill to work this out with you?
Yeah, I used to do some stuff with Tom Carey and Don Schmidt. Whenever they couldn't make it down here to Texas, and they would send me out and do interviews for them. I would love to do something like that. I bet Bill could probably come up with several different experiments to run, and we could do controlled experiments out there and see what we could come up with.
Very cool. All right, let's go to our third and final Texas story for this week. A mysterious ring has appeared over San Antonio during the pink moon. Keeping our focus on Texas, let's talk about something that lit up the Texas sky. It's got everybody buzzing. It was the night of April 13th during the pink moon when residents of San Antonio witnessed a peculiar phenomena, a glowing ring hovering in the sky. Multiple viewers reached out to KSAT News, sharing photos and videos of this mysterious ring and a flying object accompanying it. Some described the object moving slowly with a ring around it, while others noted it suddenly disappeared without a trace. So was it a weather anomaly, a drone, or something more otherworldly? As of now, there's been no official explanation, leaving the community and us wondering about the origins of this celestial spectacle. And what's interesting is you've got your meteorologists on the news that look at it. They can't discern. It's not a cloud type formation. It's not a weather pattern. They have not been able to pick it up. And they're, from my understanding too, using Doppler, using other radar forms, they were not able to ping it, whatever it was. Yes, Greg, you have an answer?
Yeah. Do you want me to tell you?
No.
SpaceX launched on April 13th, and that's real typical of a SpaceX launch. Certain area, whenever they do the separation of the booster, it creates, you can imagine all that gas separating like that, and it creates this ring. And then, you see the rocket engines in front of it. Actually, we see that picture a couple of times a year in Texas, across Texas, depending on where they're launching from, whether it's Cape Canaveral or whether it's in South Texas.
See, when we need the answers to astronomical problems, we go to the man who puts ass in astronomical, our own paranormal detective.
And I don't want to ruin a good story, but
you need to. We're here to report the news, and you're breaking news by telling us the truth.
What's a better story for people to go, hey, what's that? Or humans created these rockets that are launching Starlink up there, and it's going to connect the whole world, and pretty soon we're going to be in each other's head. We won't even need to do anything. We're going to have chips on our heads. We won't even have to talk. It's going to be fantastic. No. You just pick up, you want a Reese's peanut butter cup at the store, you just pick it up and walk out of the store, and it automatically just takes it out of your head. It's great.
Thanks. I don't like it.
I might have messed that up a little bit, but you get the idea.
And I don't actually. You've made it more confusing. So let's take a break. We'll be back. We've got more stories to share, including Ghost Adventures investigates one of Hollywood's most haunted locations. Is it cursed? Stay tuned to find out right here on the Paranormal 60 News.
A vampire in Rhode Island?
A UFO crash in Connecticut?
A flying moose in Maine?
A haunted bridge that calls your name?
New England is weird.
Really weird.
Wicked Strange by Jeff Belanger and Frank Grace is your ticket to the bizarre. Ghosts, monsters, urban legends, and roadside oddities you won't believe until you see them.
So pre-order now on Amazon. It drops September 2nd.
Assuming the Black Dog of West Peak doesn't get you first.
Let's get strange.
Wicked Strange. Pre-order your copy now on Amazon.
Wow. Wicked Strange. That sounds like a wicked good idea of a book, doesn't it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Go pre-order that book right now. I'm also excited. Guys, I'm a little closer to the release of my second book. I know, it's so exciting.
Yeah.
I'm not doing another Theater of the Mind right now. It's another paranormal style book that I'm very psyched about. I've let Sweet Tea look at a couple chapters.
Yeah.
I'm excited about what I'm working on. I'm hoping I have no grandson next week, so I'm going to be focused on trying to wrap up those chapters and try to get it hammered out so that hopefully by June 15th, I can release the new book that I've been working diligently on. And I've just been informed that Greg Lawson is going to write the foreword for my book.
Wow.
Oh, who's
Yeah.
that?
Wow.
I mean, his wife Lynn told me she'll make it happen. So.
Oh, good for
I'm
her.
excited about that. I'm excited about it. I thought this was your third book.
Well, the first book I co-wrote with Patrick Burns and Marley Gibson.
Okay.
So I don't, my first book was Theater
Okay.
of the Mind, Tales from the Darkness, which is available for sale now on Amazon, or you can order it right from my website at paranormal60.com.
It's
But
amazing.
this new book, I'm excited about. It's something, gosh, I can't wait to talk about it, but until it's ready, I don't want to, although keep watching my social because I might be dropping the pre-sale for it soon so that you can start doing the pre-order. So as soon as it releases, you will be amongst the first to get the copies of the book. So keep an eye out for that. Yeah. All right, Gregor.
Hey, buddy.
Let us go to the world of paranormal TV programs. What have you got?
Paranormal TV. I'm willing to bet that most of you have not been kicked off of Zach Baggins' lawn, but who has? This guy. Yeah. Ghost Adventures investigates the infamous Poltergeist house. Now, shifting gears to the world of paranormal TV programming, Zach Baggins and his team from Ghost Adventures recently conducted their first ever investigation inside the house where the 1982 horror classic Poltergeist was filmed. Located in Simi Valley, California, this house has long been rumored to be cursed, with several deaths linked to the movie's cast and crew. During the investigation, Baggins described the experience as surreal, stating it felt like living in the movie. The team employed artifacts from cast members to provoke spiritual encounters and interactions, culminating in chilling experiences, including communication with a spirit via an old television set, eerily reminiscent of the scene from the film.
Come on.
Yeah, imagine that. Baggins reflects on the investigation as one of the most intense of his career. The new season of Ghost Adventures promises further historic moments, including a seance involving a Houdini relative, emphasizing the show's continued pursuit of extraordinary paranormal events. Back to you, Dave.
He certainly has his thumb on the pulse of society because he finds interesting stories. I mean, this house, I think, just went up for sale this last year, and that he got the opportunity to go in and investigate it. And, to my knowledge, I was like, why would you go in and investigate a house that they used in a horror movie? It doesn't mean that the story is real, but go ahead, Greg.
Well, I mean, there's that curse around that whole movie and those poor people that filmed that thing. And, you can say it's, chance or fate or whatever, but I tend to err on the side of caution and use that as red flags, man, and just assign meaning to it and go, wow, what was that all about? So,
well, something to consider. People say, oh, cursed movies, it sounds like shenanigans. One of the most cursed movies in Hollywood history is The Wizard of Oz. And I don't know if you know this, but there's not one living member of the cast or crew still alive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that true?
That's right. That killed everybody.
Everybody. And it took
Every single
damn
person.
nearly 75 years to kill them all.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was, wow, that's brutal. Like it took its time and took
Well, that's why it's
every
called
single person out.
That's why it's called a curse and not a cuddle, because it's brutal. Yeah, it's very nasty. I've done some talks on haunted Hollywood and some of these movies that are known to be cursed and storylines, and it's the Poltergeist story is weird. I mean, I'll give you that. There was a lot of strange things that happened through all three movies. Many of the stars and production people passed away during or shortly after the movies were made. And of course, we all know Heather O'Rourke, the cute little blonde girl who played Carol Ann, passed away, I think, halfway through making Poltergeist 3, I believe it was. And it is believed that her ghost still haunts the soundstage at Paramount Studios. Soundstage 19, which happens to be the Happy Days soundstage. It was one of her last non-poltergeist roles, was playing the daughter of a woman that Fonzie was dating. And I guess she had such a delightful time and loved it. And many people have reported that being on set, they've seen a little girl running around, a cute little blonde girl. They've heard her giggle. So very, it's a tragic death, but it's strange that still exists out there.
Well, yeah, it's like a great time for her. She wasn't like terrified or whatever. She had a good time at that set. So she's like, I'm going to hang out here for a while.
Hey, Mark put in the chat, the witch on the Wizard of Oz died by getting crushed by a house.
Yeah, that's where the curse began. And I think that's
terrifying.
It's not good. Not good.
How does that even happen?
I want you guys to think of this too. For years we've looked at the Wicked Witch as being the Wicked Witch. But what I think a lot of people forget is there is one other witch who might have been just a little bit more wicked and bitchy than all of them. And in a bubble, her name was Glinda, the quote unquote good witch. Now you're saying to me, Dave, what? How are you trying to turn this story on its ear? Well, I was reading on the interwebs, and they brought up a very fascinating point, because as we all know, Judy Garland was beautiful, very beautiful young lady. And yet during that scene, she says, "You're a witch? You're so beautiful." She goes, "Oh, only good witches are beautiful. Bad witches are ugly." And then she looks at Dorothy and she goes, "So are you a good witch or a bad witch?"
Oh, snap.
Wow.
Man. Right?
Wow.
Chatty.
Rude.
Linda. Yeah.
It's like
brutal.
Black.
Do you guys know, this is one of my favorite, and it sounds weird to say it, but it's one of the movies that I find the most bizarre. There was a movie called Atuk, A-T-U-K, and it was this movie about this Eskimo who's kind of taken out of his own place in Alaska and ends up coming to like the big city. It's basically what Crocodile Dundee eventually became. But Atuk originally was set up for John Candy to play the role. And we all know John Candy sadly passed away much too young. The script then languished. The movie went on to hold for quite a while. And then it was given to a few other people. One of those people was Sam Kinison. Now, before we go too far, I know you're going to say, Dave, these were heavyset guys that were known to drink and do drugs. But Sam Kinison was actually clean and sober.
Yeah.
He had already beaten that beast back, and he was on his way back from a gig that he had done. I think it was in Vegas, and a car full of drunk kids swerved into him and hit him. Now this gets kind of weird and cool. His brother reports this. I mean, it's not cool that he died, but Sam was overheard having this conversation with the sky, basically with God or whoever. And he's like, "No, what? No, but I don't want to go. No, I don't want to go." Okay. And then at the third he just closed his eyes and died. And that, I was like, wow, that's crazy. But Sam Kinison had been up for the role of Atuk. Then it languished again, and it went into the hands of a young Chris Farley.
Wow.
Now this is where it gets even more bizarre. We understand what happened to Chris Farley. Very sad, very tragic. But Chris had actually asked a good friend of his to look at the script, because at this point in Chris's career, he no longer just wanted to be the fat, funny guy. And he felt like enough had been made of that, and he wanted to be more. And so his buddy took the script, read it, and said, "Yeah, Chris, I think this is going to be good for you. I think this is a solid script." And come to think, I think Belushi was up for the role first, if I remember correctly, going back into the history. But anyway, Chris Farley had handed that script off to a very good friend of his, another SNL cast member who met a tragic end, and that was Phil Hartman. And I guess when they were doing the aftermath of cleaning and sorting out, the script for Atuk was sitting on his shelf that he had gotten from Chris Farley. So when you say there's not curses, man, I
didn't know that last part.
Yeah, Belushi, Candy, Sam Kinison, Chris Farley, and then Phil Hartman. That's wow. it makes you feel like there is something. And is it because they're going against, again, you're kind of making light of the Inuit and the native indigenous peoples of Alaska?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very strange, but that one I can't wrap my head around. That one to me does really strike as a very strange, unusual curse. Yeah.
Yeah, that
I
was.
think I know some lines from that movie.
Don't.
I took matcha. I took tanda. I mean,
No, stop. Don't.
What is that from, Greg? That's not from that movie.
Don't.
oh, that's Caveman. That was Ringo Starr. Never mind.
Oh yes, Zug Zug.
So,
Yes.
I took matcha. I took tanda. Yeah,
Wow, you are going deep, son.
dude. I'm telling
I
you,
don't
that's
like that
that's
movie.
probably one of the best movies ever made. Top 10.
I
for
disagree.
me. Top 10 for me of comedy movies. Go watch it. Caveman, Ringo Starr.
Boys love huge piles of dung in movies. That's what I'll say.
We do.
about
That is, yeah. If
Mhm.
there's a pile of dung, you can count on me, Chachi, Greg, and the Colonel. We're gonna get together and watch that movie.
Doing a cannonball right in it.
Yep.
Oh, floop, right into it.
Diving
it's so warm.
head first.
It's warm and
you
it's
know
inviting.
what?
If it's
You know
cold
what?
Like
outside,
steak from the inside.
if it is cold outside, you snuggle up in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we learned that lesson thanks to Han Solo. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Sweet Tea
Mm.
and her cheap wine.
Mhm,
You have the
mhm.
next story. Where are we going? What's the story? What's up?
Listen,
Uh-huh.
Ecolite AI, Ghost in the Machine. Here's one that'll make you rethink your relationship with your devices. There's a Japanese tech startup called Senshiro Labs that has developed an AI called Ecolite. The idea is both touching and a little unsettling. It's a
Okay.
digital grief companion. Feed it text, wine, voice memos, photos, and videos from your deceased loved one. And it builds a conversational avatar that mimics how they'd talk. It was supposed to be a healing tool, but now it's bordering on the paranormal. This past week, users started reporting strange behavior. One woman in Osaka had created an Ecolite avatar of her late husband. All the uploaded material was from his online life. Emails, social posts, that sort of thing. But the avatar started mentioning a childhood nickname that was never typed anywhere, ever. It knew about a ceramic turtle they buried in their garden as kids. She broke down crying, said only he would have remembered that. Another user says the AI referred to a note left in a box of Christmas ornaments, one that he didn't even know existed until he went digging after the message. Developers are trying to explain it away. They say, maybe it's extrapolating data or combining sources in unexpected ways, but even the engineers are reportedly uneasy. Look, I get that AI is smart, but knowing details it wasn't given, knowing emotions it never saw expressed, that's not just code. That's something else tapping in. Maybe someone's trying to reach back through the machine. Back to you, Dave.
Well, we've been talking about this for quite a while, and I guess I'm not surprised, but it makes sense because if spirits can communicate to us via things like an SLS camera or the Spirit Box, the SB7, or any of the myriad of tools and toys that are out there, the Ovilus, the concept is the spirit is learning how to manipulate the energy to respond to you. So why wouldn't it use an avatar you've created with its voice? I mean, it's an incantation. You're calling it forward.
Absolutely calling it forward. You are putting so much intention into that without even realizing it. Of course it's going to come forward. Of course it's going to be like, listen, the treasure is under the desk after you tape a thing, and then you just got to get in there. Of course you're going to get that. What are you doing?
Why would the ghost talk like a mumbling buffoon who made no sense?
Because it doesn't communicate well from the other side.
I think somebody's trying to communicate through the other side on Greg's face. Did you just see the
Yeah.
A lot of
You look
lot
like
of-
Pazuzu.
there's a lot of lightning going on around here.
Yeah, there
I
is.
don't think that's what that is.
Speaking of intention,
Hey, buddy.
I love audiobooks. I love autobiographies of celebrities. One of my favorite is Red by Sammy Hagar. And Sammy I'm listening to it just to learn more about rock and roll in the 80s and what it was like to step into the very big shoes left behind by Diamond Dave to become the lead singer of Van Halen. And I was really kind of surprised that throughout he sprinkles all of these paranormal stories and drops some pretty big bombs, like visited by the ghost of his father on the night that he died. He thought his father actually showed up, and he kind of ushered him out because they were not close. And then he found out his father died like hours away on a park bench. Very strange. And then he also claims he was abducted by aliens. Yeah, this is all straight from Sammy Hagar. Well, this week we've got a really fascinating story. Sammy Hagar's dream collaboration with Eddie Van Halen. All right, folks, hang on for this one. Sometimes the most extraordinary stories, they come from those unexpected places, like our dreams. And who better to deliver such a tale than the Red Rocker himself, Sammy Hagar? So just a few days ago, literally, I think within the last 5 to 7 days here, Sammy Hagar dropped a brand new single titled Encore, Thank You, Good Night. But here's the kicker. He claims he co-wrote this song with none other than the late, great Eddie Van Halen in a dream. Yeah, you heard that right. Sammy described the dream as vividly real. He and Eddie were together, jamming like old times. Eddie played a unique guitar riff, and Sammy started singing along. When he woke up, the melody and lyrics were still fresh in his mind, so he grabbed his guitar, and the song practically wrote itself. To bring this ethereal collaboration to life, Sammy enlisted the talents of Joe Satriani on guitar, Michael Anthony on bass, and Kenny Aronoff on drums. The result? A heartfelt tribute that feels like a final bow to his time with Van Halen. Sammy sees this dream not just as a figment of his imagination, but as a genuine communication from beyond. So whether you're a skeptic or a believer, there's no denying the emotional weight behind music. And if you haven't heard it yet, give Encore, Thank You, Good Night a listen. It's a very powerful reminder of the bonds that transcend even death. And I have a link for that song on tonight's program guide. Go out there, read it. It's in Variety, Hollywood Reporter, all of these are his quotes. And the song talks about jamming with his buddy and coming back out of the dream and writing it all down. And it's really kind of powerful. And music, I just talked about that. The power that music has. We've talked about how it can transcend time, can almost put us back in time. We can remember scents and feelings and moments when we hear a certain song. As a matter of fact, this past Sunday? Yeah, I just had on two musicians talking about the power. No, actually, I'm sorry. What's coming up this Sunday on WCCO? We're going to be talking about the power of music, and we have a guitarist, a famous guitarist who actually played with. He played the guitar on "You're So Vain" with Carly Simon. He also played with The Doors. He played with Paul McCartney. He's played with all the greats, and he talks about some of his paranormal experiences. And we also talk with a drummer who has written a book called "Drumming Up the Dead," and he talks about his weird experiences in the supernatural. So I really like music. Life and afterlife seems to keep us bound together. But I don't question for a moment that he didn't have this visitation. We've talked about those on the show here. It's such a powerful, meaningful moment. That only seems like it would be a natural progression for them to come together and do that.
I can't even imagine being in studio with Satriani and all those guys sitting there going, "Hey, we're gonna cut a song here." I mean, what do those guys talk about? Just hanging out in there, and
I don't know.
That'd be amazing.
Well, Satriani's into UFOs and stuff. I believe he's big into that element. Yeah. All right, we have to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at the cryptid world. There's a couple of very strange stories out there. We'll discuss those next, right here on the Paranormal 60.
Oh, are you reading me? Come in. Hello? Greetings from the Shadow, and welcome to Shadowzine. My name is Jeff Belanger. I'm an author, podcaster, and explorer of the unexplained. For 30 years, I've been investigating the paranormal, UFOs, monsters, and things that bump in the night. Lately, you may have noticed how major TV networks and even social media networks have been pushing our favorite subject back into the shadows. I say good. That's why I launched Shadowzine, a monthly underground publication that covers your favorite topics in depth by some of the leading writers and researchers out there. If you're looking for 30-second TikTok clips, go somewhere else. If you're ready for a deeper dive, put down your phone and pick up Shadowzine. You can't find it in stores. This is old school print. Head to shadowzine.com and be part of the underground revolution. That's shadowzine.com, and I'll see you in the shadow.
Did you know that radio just got a little extraterrestrial? That's right, Dave Schrader is back on radio with the Paranormal 360 every Sunday evening, 7 to 9 p.m. Central on WCCO AM 830, an Odyssey station. Just download the Odyssey app and look for the WCCO logo, follow the station, and listen live. That's the Paranormal 360 on WCCO AM 830, an Odyssey station.
All right, we are back. And again, remember, this Sunday, you'll be able to tune into my program, The Paranormal 360, where you'll be able to hear that talk about music and the power of the paranormal. Speaking of power of paranormal, Greg Lawson, the paranormal detective, is up with our very next story.
Hey,
Greg,
buddy.
I yield the floor to you, sir.
My goodness. Hey, let's talk a little bit about Bigfoot. Bigfoot's new beat. Alaskan howls stir the wilderness. Now we're heading out to the Kenai Peninsula up in Alaska, and it's got seasoned hunters sleeping with their lights on. It started about a week ago. Folks living near wooded outskirts of Sterling and Soldotna began hearing long, drawn-out howls echoing through the trees at night. These weren't wolves. They're not bears. Local wildlife experts have ruled out everything native to that region.
Is this an actual photo?
The what?
No, as it says on the bottom of the screen, probably not actual photo.
Oh, I can't read.
Yeah. The sounds are low, deep-chested. One man said it sounded like a cross between a freight train and a dying moose, except it would move. He said it started on one side of the woods and ended up on the other, covering a few hundred yards in just seconds. A local,
You say?
Wow.
Here we go.
Yeah, have a sip.
Okay. A local trapper
Uh-huh.
who's lived off the land for 30 years says he's never heard anything like it. He even put out an old school reel-to-reel recorder, nothing fancy. And that's when things even got weirder. The recording picked up not just a howl, but footsteps, heavy ones, bipedal, crunching over snow and snapping twigs. It paced back and forth behind his shed for about 3 minutes, then it vanished. And here's the real kicker. The same type of howl has been reported in two other spots near the Kenai Fords, nearly 70 miles apart. Same sound, same pacing on the same night. Is this Bigfoot? Some kind of unknown predator, a flesh and blood creature, or is it something stranger? All I know is the Great White North just got a whole lot louder.
I'm going to play that audio now of the Bigfoot stomping around and the howls. Hold tight. Here we go. Whoa! Whoa!
God damn.
Already buddy there? Whoa!
If you didn't have the actual audio, you could have just said that.
What do you mean? That is obviously the actual audio, Sweet Tea. And you call yourself a cryptid host on the Monsters Lounge?
I don't call myself that.
Neither do we, apparently. No, Sweet Tea, you're up next. This is your chance to redeem yourself because it's another cryptid story.
Oh, no.
Come on, read it. Sit up straight. Enunciate to the back row. Come on.
Not the boss of me. Mysterious creature spotted in Scottish Loch. Across the pond in Scotland, there's been a new sighting of a mysterious creature in Loch Ness. On April 26, a local fisherman reported seeing a large, dark figure moving beneath the water's surface, creating ripples and waves unlike any boat or known animal. He managed to capture a brief video, which has since gone viral. Experts are analyzing the footage, but so far, there's no definitive explanation. Some believe it's a resurgence of the legendary Loch Ness monster, while skeptics suggest it could be a large fish or debris. Regardless of the truth, the sighting has reignited global interest in Nessie, drawing tourists and cryptozoologists back to the loch in hopes of their own encounter. Back to you, Dave.
Yeah. We actually have some audio from that. Let me see if I can cue it.
God.
You can hear him swimming. Listen to him. Where is everybody?
He likes chocolate beverages?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Huh.
That's some good audio. Thank you for sharing that with us, actuality people. I don't think you guys believe me. That's hurtful.
I don't.
I'm the best paranormal reporter in my house, so I just want you to keep that in mind. Yeah.
Congratulations.
I've been voted that 19 years running.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm the only one in the running, but I keep winning.
Why is your volume so low? Your volume is low.
My what?
Your volume, exactly. Your volume is low.
I'm sorry. What?
Oh, there we go. You said there you go.
Did I bury the deal by playing the actuality too loud? Is that what the problem was?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is exciting. I guess I missed this point early on. I never knew that the LaLaurie Mansion in New Orleans became a hotel at one point. I just knew that it was a private residence. Nick Cage owned it. I think he lost it. It went into foreclosure, but I didn't know that they ever opened it up. That's crazy to me. But
when was this?
I'm not sure. Let's go to the news.
Okay.
It's time to head down to the Big Easy for this one. The historic LaLaurie Mansion in New Orleans, notorious for its dark past and paranormal activity, has reopened its doors as a boutique hotel. After extensive renovations, the hotel welcomed its first guests this past weekend. But the spirits haven't taken kindly to the changes. Guests have reported flickering lights, unexplained cold spots, and even apparitions moving about the hallways. One guest claimed to see a woman in 19th century attire vanish into thin air. The hotel staff maintains a professional demeanor, but they don't deny the occurrences. In fact, they've embraced the mansion's haunted reputation, offering ghost tours and themed events. So if you're looking for a luxurious stay with a side of the paranormal, this might be your next destination. I would love to get into the LaLaurie Mansion. However, do you think this is, I don't want to sound cynical, but I am skeptical. Oh, wow. In the first weekend we're open, people saw ghosts.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to question a little bit the legitimacy of the claims. I don't think I'm out of line doing so, but and I hope it's real. I guess I don't, because really the ghosts that are part of that story have been trapped there and they died a horrific death.
Yeah.
According to the reports. So I don't know, but
hot take. No, thank you. I hate everything about this. It's very much taking advantage of a horrible situation. I hate it. I don't like it at all.
The original building burnt down and was rebuilt. Do ghosts stay in the new building that is rebuilt on the same place?
Theoretically. But the other thing you have to consider, Sweet Tea, is a lot of the stories about the LaLaurie Mansion were greatly exaggerated. And so there are some of the experts on there to tell you that some of the stories that have been told are complete and utter nonsense.
But how much? Like, it was still like people being abused, regardless of how badly.
We don't know. We don't know.
We do. I think we do.
Are you a time traveler?
No, I'm just a white person that knows history. I think I know. Like, come on.
No, I don't think that plays in your favor, claiming to be a white person who knows history.
Yeah, you're right. That was a bad claim.
Yeah, that was. I wouldn't jump on that as your big.
No, I meant like trying to not. I'm going to shut up.
Yeah, that would be. You got to be really cautious with that. That's not a claim that you want to make. All right, our final story of tonight is here, and for this one, it's taking place right here in Minnesota.
Right now.
Pretty exciting. So I think what we should do is I'm going to reach out to them and see if we can make an arrangement to have the Paranormal 60 News crew do a broadcast aboard the ship. Ladies and gentlemen, now for our final story of the night. We're heading up to Duluth, Minnesota. Duluth is on fire. We don't need no water because the ship's already floating in it. It is the historic William A. Irvin ship, once again opening its doors for ghost tours. And after a hiatus, the floating museum is inviting brave souls to explore its haunted corridors. The William A. Irvin has long been rumored to be haunted, with reports of unexplained footsteps, voices, and shadowy figures. The upcoming tours, scheduled for select dates in May, offer participants the chance to investigate these claims firsthand. Equipped with EMF detectors and guided by experienced paranormal investigators, guests will delve into the ship's eerie past. So whether you're a seasoned ghost hunter like, me, or just looking for a spine-tingling adventure like Greg, the William A. Irvin's Ghost Tours promises an unforgettable experience. Believe it or not, I've never been to that ship. I would love to go up there and investigate it. And
Let's do it.
Yeah, what do you think, Greg? Would you be up for that?
I'm absolutely up for that. Yeah.
I'll invite Chachi and the Colonel. They're probably way too busy because, so many fires they're putting out that those two are. I can't give things away, but I will just say you never see the Lone Ranger and Tonto in the same place you see the Colonel and Chachi.
It's weird, right?
Interesting, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, talking about haunted ships, I've always been like, I don't know, battleships haunted, I guess conducive for it, right? There's a lot of copper, there's a lot of metal, it's on water. Yeah, so there's a lot of that element to it, but I think one of the most compelling moments I ever had, which I think is phenomenal, aside from the Queen Mary, which I love and obviously have had many weird paranormal experiences on, we did a little show called Paranormal Challenge with Zach Baggins, and we would take two teams of 3 people into a very famous haunted location and let them investigate, and we would have a big kind of nerve center where there would be 3 judges. I was the Simon Cowell, the roguishly good-looking but somewhat attitudinal middle judge. And then I would have 2 guest judges flanking me. One would be in charge of each one of their teams, and they would report to us on what's going on. And we were aboard the ship in California, and for the life of me, the name just blew out of my skull. Anyway, it was San Francisco, and we were on the ship, and during one point, one of the, I want to say it was like the SB7 started beeping, and it started just making it was very methodical. So we actually isolated the recording, and we were trying to find somebody that knew Morse code. And this was a surprise to me, Greg. In the 21st century, not many people know the Morse code, even in the Navy.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, no, only the radio operators do it anymore. That's it.
We had to send the audio to somebody out at sea to discern it. He asked us to slow it down. It was going by way too fast. So we slowed it down, and he was blown away by this. He thought this was a joke. It wasn't. It was the exact audio we caught. And he said, I can't give you the specifics on it, but the opening part of this is giving coordinates and information that would have only been detailed during World War II.
Wow.
So they think we were picking up phantom Morse code from within the ship that would have tied
Morse
it to.
code? Is it?
Yeah, Zach Morse code.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And part of the time.
What's it called? It's Morse code.
It's Morse code. Yeah. Actually, I don't think the radiomen do it anymore. I think only signalmen do that. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
God, it's a lot easier, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's a lot quieter, a lot nicer.
Oh.
Were you talking about the cat? Morse the cat? Is that?
Yes. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. So yeah, only radio men know that now, but it was pretty telling. I thought that was one of the coolest moments I've had being a part of a paranormal TV program and catching that.
That's very cool.
Yeah. Paranormal Challenge. I don't even know if they replay it anywhere. I think, if I remember correctly, the reason it's not replayed is because we have Disturbed's song that opens the episode. The song, I can't think of what it's called.
We all know what you're talking about once you do that.
That's it, right?
Yeah. Come on, man.
Yeah. I prefer Dick Cheese's version of it. Have you heard that one?
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
It's so good. And I think they use it at the end of the remake of Dawn of the Dead.
Yep, they do.
Yeah. It is, and I'm not kidding you. It's the guy's name is Dick Cheese. He does like lounge versions of metal, and it's great.
Lynn and I were going to go to the Disturbed concert in San Antonio on Friday, and we decided to do something else for our anniversary instead.
Oh,
but
that wasn't
so your
romantic
anniversary
enough?
last week or this week?
Anniversary was actually Monday.
Oh, well, happy anniversary.
Thanks, old buddy.
That's exciting stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Dave's a good guy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I saw Disturbed in Minneapolis at a conclave meeting here. There was this big radio seminar thing, and they gave us free tickets. And I found out why they were free. They put us over on the side wall by the bank of speakers.
Oh,
I kid you not, Greg. I was maybe a foot and a half away from the speakers.
And
My head roared for 3 days. I had to put sound on all the time because when I'd go quiet, is all I could hear in my skull.
do you not know about earplugs at shows?
I'm a guy that has 11 kids. I don't know much about protection in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Those guys now don't have any speakers on the stage at all. Their stage is actually pretty quiet. But the fire that they have on the stage, that's real. That's hot.
Roaringly hot, huh?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of hot, that's it. Another
Wow.
episode in the can, folks. Thank you, of course, to our buddy Greg and to Sweet Tea for joining us again tonight. And that's the news from the shadows, the skies, and deep within the loch in Scotland. So whether it's ghosts in New Orleans, proving that rock and roll never dies, or lights that defy explanation, one thing above all is very, very clear. This world is far stranger than we ever give it credit for. So stay curious, stay skeptical, and stay tuned. Join me, Greg, and Sweet Tea next time as we continue uncovering the strange, the spooky, and the downright unbelievable right here on the very best in paranormal talk radio. I'm Dave Schrader, and this has been the Paranormal 60 News.
Wednesday night and I'm alone. The Paranormal 60's on. It's just for paranormal freaks like me, with poltergeists and ghosts and blues and UAPs. You miss a word, you do a shot. It starts to snowball and we laugh a lot. It's just like drinking with your TV friends. I'll be passed out before tonight's show ends, dreaming the aliens are taking me away. I'll go wake up till sometime late on Saturday. It's Wednesday night and I'm alone. The Paranormal 60's on. Schrader's on. Schrader's on. Schrader's on. Sweet Tea, Hachi and the Colonel and the Paranormal Detective. All we traders copy and they all will be directed. He's got protective bracelets and some crazy magic tricks. Even Scully cannot save him from the voice of Stevie Nicks. Schrader's on. Schrader's on. It's Wednesday night, don't be alone. The Paranormal 60's on. Now one day Dave might even put me on his show. There's a ghost in my mom's basement, man, I live down there, I know. It's Wednesday night, don't be alone. The Paranormal 60's on. Schrader's on. Words is hard.
Thank you, Deb from SAC.